I got a speeding ticket, which is a little bit embarrassing. But it's my first ever speeding ticket after driving for like 5 years, and I wasn't going 140 miles an hour or anything. I went 46 in a 40, which is of course 6 miles over the legal limit, so yes, the ticket was totally justified. So in this video I'll give some insight into why I got a speeding ticket, but mainly I want to go over the process of what actually happens when you get a speeding ticket, so I can explain if I was punished, if I had to pay anything, if it will impact the price of my insurance, etc, etc. So the very first thing that happened was I received a letter, and when I opened that letter I saw big bold text which said, Oh, sorry guys, I forgot to mention the speeding offence was committed in Wales, so my first letter was written in Welsh. So after very confused 4 seconds, I looked at the English version of the letter underneath, which said this: Notice of intended prosecution. We had my registration plate, the car brand, and then the alleged offence exceeding the speed limit, 46 miles per hour. And then there's also the approximate location. When you type this in, it brings up like a 10-mile long road, so I don't know exactly where it happened. Now, not in my defense, but also kind of in my defense. The road that I got this speeding ticket, if it was in England, this type of road would have been a 60, but the area of Wales that I was in, it was a 40, because they're just slightly stricter. So it's obviously my responsibility as the driver to know exactly what the road speed limit is. So basically, I think I must have either wrongly assumed that it was a 60, or 40 just felt really slow on that particular road. So I went a little bit faster, but obviously that would be the wrong thing to do, alright? Yeah, I understand, okay. Now this letter had lots of scary writing on it, and on the back of this letter there was a big form that I needed to fill in. And according to the front, failure to fill in this form will incur a penalty of 6 points and a fine on conviction. Now a 26-year-old does not want 6 points on their license, so obviously I'm going to fill in this form. On this form you just needed to confirm who was driving the vehicle, and then you also needed to give all of the driver's private information. So I filled that in and I posted it to them. I don't quite understand why it's not done online at this point, but whatever. 2 weeks later, I got another letter. Now what I haven't told you yet is because my Tesla is technically a company vehicle, that original letter that I've just talked about was actually sent to my accountants first, which was kind of embarrassing because my accountant got to find out about my speeding ticket, and then when they told me about it, I kind of felt like I was being told off. But anyway, I guess because the original letter had a company address on it as opposed to a private address, 2 weeks later I was sent the same letter again. It's the exact same letter with the exact same information, the exact same form at the back, but this time with a different address at the top of the letter. So I once again had to just fill out the exact same information that I'd filled out 2 weeks ago. Just saying, if this process took place online, I probably would have had to do that. But anyway, that letter got posted, and give it another 2 weeks or so, I got a third letter! Retraining course order. Please read carefully. One option must be chosen within 14 days of this letter. Option 1 was taking a speed awareness course. Now option 2 was not taking a speed awareness course and getting an immediate 6 points on your license, which would like skyrocket the price of your insurance and basically put you at risk of getting your license completely removed in the future. So obviously, I took option 1. So finally, I'm given a website to go to. It's National Driver Offender Retraining Scheme. And you basically just have to register by entering all of your personal details. Then you're given the option of whether you want to do a virtual course or a physical course. So virtual course is like a Zoom meeting basically, and obviously that's way more convenient, so that's the one I went with. And at this point I didn't really know how this process worked. I didn't know if I'd have to pay or anything. But you're then taken to a bunch of different private course providers, and it's up to you to choose who you want to go with. And what was surprising actually was how limited availability there was. As you can see, in this entire month period there was only 2 dates that I could choose from, and then Nottingham Police didn't have any availability for the next 3 months. But yes, you can see if I'd gone with that course it would have been £89. The TTC course was slightly cheaper at £88, but the one I ended up going with cost me £89 plus £5 to make it flexible just in case something went wrong. So the course basically cost me £94 in total. So now my course was booked in, I was linked a bunch of tutorials which show you how to get ready for your course. Basically just how to download software in case you're not particularly computer literate, and also letting you know that you need to have your driving license ready and that it's going to take about 3 hours. I was not expecting that it would take 3 hours, but yes, it takes 3 hours. Okay, that's fine, cool. But anyway, about 3 weeks later, the course date came around, and little Jack was awkwardly sat waiting for someone to invite him to the meeting. I had my background blurred because I thought that it'd be a bit weird to have PewDiePie's 100 million red diamond play button sat behind me. And I also sat for about 30 minutes waiting for the course to start. I waited for so long that I actually started to panic that something had gone wrong, and I actually went ahead and called the helpline, as you can see by this on hold music. But after 5 minutes I connected with someone, and they basically told told me that they were just running late because some of the other people on the course were having some technical issues. Now, I was going to record some of the actual speed awareness course and just blur everybody's faces just so you could get an idea of what actually happens on the course, but I was told that anyone that records or takes any photos is at risk of getting disqualified and getting the 6 points on their license. So instead, here's just a random picture of a Zoom meeting on Google Images. It was pretty much exactly like that. There was people of all age groups there, people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And you know what? I might sound like a bit of a nerd here, but I actually kind of enjoyed the course. I found it quite interesting. It was exactly what you expected. This nice lady who we'll call Margaret basically just talked to us about roads and stuff, and how you can get clues for working out what the speed limit is, and also how increased speeds massively increase your stopping distance, all that sort of stuff. Everyone had to keep their microphone and cameras on the entire time, just so that Margaret knew that you were paying attention. There was a 30-minute break in the middle, and honestly, yeah, it wasn't too bad. You were randomly asked a couple of questions just to make sure that you were doing stuff and you were contributing, and then pretty much 3 hours later, the course finished. I was not required to do anything else. The company would automatically let the police know that you have took the course and your speeding ticket goes away. I didn't have to pay anything other than the £94 for the course. I got no points on my license, and I don't have to tell my insurer that I've been convicted of anything as well, because I technically haven't. Now, it is worth noting that I only went 6 miles an hour above the speed limit. If you go way over the speed limit, like, you know, an extra 15 miles an hour, the police potentially don't give you the option of the speed awareness course and instead go ahead straight to fining you and adding points to your license. So basically, just don't risk it. Stick to the speed limit. As if you get caught out with a ticket, it could end up costing you a lot of money, but worse, you could also potentially endanger yourself or someone else. Anyway, that is what happens when you get a speeding ticket. I will be going way more carefully from now on. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you later.